Hey, you guys. Good morning. I thought it would be nice to just, you know, kind of touch base with you guys and um, kind of let you know where I'm at and what I've been up to and that kind of thing. Trying to work on sharing a little bit more of what I'm doing on like a daily basis, maybe. Not saying I'm gonna post a video every day, even though, well, I probably could, but I just feel like maybe it's not that interesting, but I've kind of heard that maybe it would be. So I don't know. Anyways, um just wanted to, talk to you guys about a couple things I've been working on and also I got happy mail. I got happy mail from Carla and super 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 cool stuff in here and pretty excited to get my hands on it. We kind of did like a little swap, so just so you know, it was sort of a swap, but anywho, so let me just kind of get in here and show you the stuff that she sent me, and then I'll show you some of the things that I've been working on. I have some journals that I'm putting together and some other stuff. So first off, in the box of goodies from Carla, um, some junk jewelry, which is pretty cool. There's a bunch of it in here, and I don't know if anybody remembers, but I showed on one of my live streams a couple weeks ago um, some jewelry that my mom makes out of repurposed jewelry. And so Carla had seen that and asked me if I thought she would appreciate any of this stuff. So, and absolutely, so I'm just gonna kind of dump it out and then just kind of show you what's in here. There's some cool stuff, and when you're looking at junk jewelry, I think that it absolutely relates to junk journals, right? Because you have to look past what it is and look at the potential that's there. Um, you can use stuff for other stuff. Um, you could use this earring, um, glue it on the cover of a journal, and attach some other embellishments and stuff like that to it, and it's just an interesting little piece. Um, take some, rhinestone pieces like this, put them in the center of a flower, even just glue them on. These little things can become other things. These could be flower petals, right? I love these little guys. These are awesome. These would be great hanging off of a tassel or even just as part of a little charm cluster on a journal. Um, so lots of potential, and it's just a matter of kind of looking past the item and seeing what else it could be, like the pieces on this bracelet. you know you could make these into flower stems, or you could arrange four of them in a little frame for a picture, or um, you know what I mean? There's just all kinds of different things you can do. She sent me a bunch of these little bangles. Um, she had asked me if I would be interested in having some. I guess she had a ton of them, and asked me if I would be interested in some of them, just for various reasons, but to make like boho bracelets with them. And I'm like, yeah, heck yeah, at some point. I'm not doing that right now, but maybe down the road, I'll see these and they'll inspire me to do something different. And because I like to bounce around and do different things, um, just because it keeps my juices flowing. It keeps me excited, and I always love to have options. So I mean, just weird little things in here. It's like I love coming across bags of junk jewelry. There's just so much potential. So, and these little things can be disassembled. I think this is a cool bracelet just like that, you know. So anyway, just some junk jewelry, and I'll use some of it. I'll give it to my mom, and she can go through it. There's always something. Look at this cool flower. You know, um, layer some other stuff on top of it, and just adds a different um, element. There's some ball chain in here. Lots of usable chain always in junk jewelry. And on eBay, tons, tons of junk jewelry lots that you can bid on. And, um, and in a lot of them, you just never know what you're going to get. But there's always cool stuff in them. So I love this little pendant. It's so, um, I don't know, unusual and inspiring, So I mean, even just look at that layered together, those two little pieces. I think there was an earring that matched that in here too, somewhere. But yeah, look at this clip-on earring, sparkly and anyway, so bunch of junk jewelry. I like this little pin. It's the Junior American Citizens, it says. So I thought that would be cute, just glued onto the, cover of a journal or as the center of a flower or something. It's junky. It's inspiring. So thank you, Carla, for, thinking of me and my mom. Yeah, good looking out. So let me get all this stuff back in here. And look at some of the other stuff that she sent me. This kind of started out the whole idea of this little swap with some books that she had, and that she wanted to know if I would like to have a couple of them. So hang on a second. Okay, so that's that stuff. And then she also sent me some stuff that she made, and I wanted to show this to you guys because Carla is, oh man, Carla is super inspiring to me. She inspires me to use more stuff. She really does. And use things in ways that I don't necessarily think of, and so I think that's cool. And everybody has a different style, and it's really, really nice to get your hands on things that other people have made in their own style to kind of boost your own creativity a little bit. Not that you want to copy somebody or anything like that, but just to see how someone else layers things together is really cool. So anyway, here's a little tag that she made, and it's like it looks like she made like a seed packet, almost little like envelope out of a book page, and then stuck a tag in there, and layered up some butterflies and flowers, and there's a little fabric flower and things like that. And one thing that she does that I don't do, but I don't know why, but for some reason I can't get past it. But I love that she used this the word beautiful here, and then added the other one, you are enough. For me, like, to do that, it would be super hard for me to add both. Like, I would think, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I like that she's not afraid to do that. So and here's a little card with a note that she made, and I love just the kind of rustic heart, and another tag with some like sprayed inks and some stamping and stuff like that. It could be a bookmark too. and some other little tags and tiles, um, some clusters. I love some of the, imagery that she has. I can tell she's a lot like me in that, and she sees new life in some of these weird things, which is cool. Um, so another cluster here. Lots of butterflies. I love me some butterflies. And here's some other little embellishments that she made. And any of this stuff that people send me as far as Happy Mail and that kind of thing, I would never use these in journals that I'm going to sell ever, um, because it just means too much to me. So, and me not being a journaler myself, what I've decided to do is just kind of collect Happy Mail, things like this that people have made and given to me, in a special place, and then at some point I will make myself some journals, more like smash book type of things, because that is something that I could get into. So, and this stuff inspires me to do that. Maybe I will just make a Happy Mail smash book sometime, because this stuff is important to me. It really is. It just, it's validating and it makes me happy. So, here's a couple little paperclip embellishments that she made. I love this one. I love just the different fibers and, fabric and twine and stuff on there. Beautiful, just beautiful. Little tiles. I love these with the jump ring. I can hang these off of my book or something like that. And I don't know if she used glass. Oh, but see, I love that she did hers two-sided, right? That's not something that I've done a lot of. I'm always just like one side and that's enough. But I love that she took the time to do both sides of these, because you have to let each side dry, right? So it takes some patience. But here's the little one made out of a Scrabble tile, looks like. Yeah. And then with a little hook on it. So yeah. And then some boho beads that she keeps trying to get me to inspired to make on my own. But I'm telling you, if I got started doing this, I would not be able to stop. So I'm just restraining, or what am I trying to say? Refraining from getting into it, restraining myself. So anyway, so these are some really cool boho beads that she made. Some of them, like this one is the fabric section is like coated, so with some kind of clear coat. But they're just cool, I mean, it's such a good way to use little bits and scraps of fibers and fabric and paper and beads that you know you just kind of have laying around, right? And just give them a new life and a new purpose, And I think that this kind of stuff, it helps you see um, the beauty in like the little tiny things. We kind of have a tendency to overlook the small things in our everyday life, right? I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but it just, these small things, like with little different elements, layered elements and stuff, it's like it helps you see that there's something beautiful just in a little scrap of fabric and the way that it frays, and it looks old, and um but it was important enough to be included in this little piece, you know what I mean? So anyway, so I love the beads, and so this stuff is going to be really cool in my journal. I'm going to make myself a really neat journal at some point, and I will definitely share that with you guys for sure. So let me get this stuff put away. And she also sent me one of her tassels, and Carla is the one that got me started on making the tassels. Okay, that's all about Carla. That's her fault. So, but she had posted some pictures of her tassels, and some of her tassels, and I was really attracted to this one because I like the red, white, and blue kind of theme, I guess. And I love some of these little pieces of fabric. I love this little checker, little plaids and stuff. So this is the one that I picked that I really liked. So this is definitely going to go on that journal. And I appreciate this so much, Carla. I really do, you know. And it shows when, you know, when you're sharing things that you make, and you're putting together a box of Happy Mail or an envelope or whatever, it just shows that, you know, you were thinking about that person for a time, you know, that you took the time to put this stuff together for that person, you know. And I can tell looking at the things that she sent me that she knows me a little bit. Like she knows like what she thought I would like, you know, and she's right. Um, so anyway, and then there's a little like a bookmark too. It was kind of sitting over here, but anyway, and then she sent me some fabric. She had asked me in a one day in a conversation if I would want any of this fabric, and I guess it's from some drapes, but I just loved it. I love the pattern, and um, I think it'll be great on a book cover. So, because I'm, you know, trying to branch out. I'm trying to do some different stuff and kind of open my mind a little bit to other styles. So, anyways, and then I guess she had this whole, like she said this was like a giant piece of fabric, and there was all these images on it, and she said she's used some of them, and she thought I would like some of them too. So, and she's right, like these are super cool. I don't know if they're stamped or, you know, probably printed somehow, but you know, she took the time to, you know, cut them all apart and fray the edges and stuff. So just some really neat things. And these will be cool like for like fabric um, pages, or, you know, like flip up things and journals, or sewn onto tags, or even just as a cover, like sewn onto the cover of a book. Um, yeah, so some really cool images on here. I'll show you guys the rest of those. Really neat, like watercolor type images. And a little gazebo. I love those. Love those. So those are definitely getting stashed. And then this is kind of what started the whole thing, was these encyclopedias that she had shown me. But in with these, she also sent me some of this old ledger paper that was obviously a very large like countertop ledger, and I think it's kind of cool. I love used ledgers. Like they're so neat. Like, so this was obviously like a store, right? Because it's got different people's names, um, and it's got their account. You know, back in the day, you could have an account at the store, at the like general store. You know, geez, I even remember at one point in my life, I had an account at a little grocery store that was around the corner from our house. So, you know, and I could send my kids down there to get a pop if they wanted to, and they could put it on my account. So, and then I just paid it once a month. So on here that somebody came in and purchased lard, and then hog feed and molasses, meat lard. Just, you know, some of this stuff is just so cool. Anyway, so this one, merchandise, like just different merchandise that this customer purchased. And the writing is just, I don't know, authentic, right? So that, and this stuff is pretty brittle. So it wouldn't necessarily be good to use as pages in a book or something, but definitely great for collaging. Anyway, so she had asked me if I wanted one of these encyclopedias. And I was like, heck yeah, you know. And I just love the covers on these. This texture is just awesome. I could see myself, you know, maybe gesso this, and then kind of sand it down and kind of kick back the gesso, and maybe ink the surface a little bit just to bring the texture out a little bit more, kind of distress them a little bit more. And so she sent me 2 of these, and they just, you know, they're printed in full color, which is awesome. I think they're 1947. Yeah, 1947. And so she sent me I think it's HIJ, or it might just be I and J. She asked me like what alpha I would want. Um, so yeah, and I just love the old illustrations and um, the fonts in that they used. They're just, you know, I mean, we still use them, but I don't know. I just love this kind of stuff, you know. And I love how things were inked, you know. If you look at some of the stuff in the right light, you can see the different layers of color on the pictures, you know, the different layers, the different colors that, you know, that make up a certain color. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, two of these really, really cool encyclopedias. And I think this is the WXYZ. Yeah. President Wilson's 14 points. I'll have to read those. Anyway, so these are going to get disassembled, and lots of this stuff is going to get used in future journals. So, okay, so that is, and there was a few other things in there too, but I actually kind of had gone through it already and put some of it away, so I didn't pull every single thing out, but that's most of what was in my Happy Mail from Carla. So, and then I'm pretty sure some of you guys saw in my my pictures that I posted in our junk journal group, Junk Journal Connections. I kind of got off on this little like boho snippet kind of like snippet roll kick one day, and I wound up making this bracelet. It's just like a cuff, you know, out of like a snippet roll that I made with like the silk scraps, you know. So I thought it was kind of cool, you know. And I used one of the appliques that I got from India. Not in India, but you know, I bought them and they got shipped from India. Anyway, and then just used a button and then a little hair tie as a closure on that. So these are kind of cool because, you know, these would fit just about anybody, regardless of the size that you made it. Well, I suppose you have to make it a certain size, but anyway, so I'm just going to show you the rolls that kind of got me started on this. So it's basically just scraps of silk fabric and trims and you know, other types of fabric and stuff in here too, and some eyelash trims, and just, you know, sewn onto this strip of fabric very, very, very randomly. Literally, like I was just taking it and like plopping it on there and stitching it on, and like kind of shoving it under the presser foot to make sure it got attached. So I did that, like a couple of strips, and then, you know, just kind of stitched over it a couple more times to tack it down a little bit. So then when I did the bracelet, I ran it through the machine one more time just to kind of tack everything down a little bit better. And I did trim a few of the real, you know, crazy pieces off. I made my mom a headband because she just, I don't know, she was like, oh, that'd be a cool headband. So I made her a headband out of one of these, and she just loves it. She looks really cute when she goes to the store wearing it. So, and then I just went a little crazy and I made quite a few of these rolls. So I think I will be, you know, and then pieces fall off of it now and then. I think I am going to try to make some more bracelets, and maybe add some of those to my shop. So, yeah, like here's the beginning of another one. So it's just really fun. It's just a really good way to use up a bunch of scraps and, you know, just kind of appreciate the junkiness of scraps. So, and on these, I made 2 of these like this. I used up a bunch of this sari silk fiber that I had bought at a yarn store where they also sell fibers for spinning. And these are really cool because I've done some felting, like wool felting. And so I bought these fibers, you know, years ago to just kind of include in my felting projects. And so it's basically just like either the warp or the weft of a piece of fabric, and it's been like shredded and pulled apart. So you can see these are just little silk fibers. So I used a whole bunch of those on this one. It's crazy, huh? So this was really, really, really messy to put together, but I like the way that those turned out. So yeah, I made 2 of those. And these are just stitched onto a piece of muslin. So yeah, so went a little crazy that day, but I had so much fun making these. I mean, I could do that all day. So I don't know, you know, what I'm gonna do with these, you know, ultimately, but just really fun to make. And you know, I'm thinking, yeah, some bracelets, but also I thought maybe some like closures for some journals, like some boho style journals. So after I kind of got, you know, finished with my giant bag of scraps, and I had made this bracelet and I made another one for my mom, I thought, one second. I thought it would be kind of cool to do some journal covers out of some of that silk that I made. So, or not that I made, that silk that I purchased off of eBay. And just trying to kind of show you guys what I'm using that stuff for, because I showed you this silk. And so anyway, so I'm just doing a couple of like traveler's notebook covers out of some of that silk. So I'm basically just kind of patchworking it together onto just a piece of cotton fabric. So, and then wrapping that around a file folder and stitching it on. So, yeah, so it would go, and these need to get trimmed down a little bit, but, you know, so these are getting attached kind of like that, and then stitched together. Before I do that, though, I've been just kind of appliquing on some of the silk appliques that I got, and just doing those very, very, very rustically with some kind of contrasting like embroidery thread, you know, just wanting to make them very colorful and fun and kind of playful, you know. So some journal covers. I'll show you this one real quick. So it's kind of like pastels, you know. So I've got 4 of those all together that I'm working on. I like to have different projects going, you know, different types of things going, all at the same time. So then I had done a bunch of, just, you know, using beeswax and playing with that and kind of experimenting with it. And this is like the first little like book cover that I made, or that I should say embellished with the wax, the beeswax and the iron, you know, method. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys a couple of the journals that I've started using some of that stuff. And this is done over the crackle paste, you know, treatment. So, excuse me. So this one, and this one I actually coated with just a brushed on layer of triple thick. So this one's a little bit shinier and it's like sealed, you know. So that one, and I may add, you know, something else onto the cover also. Oh, and one more. And I waxed the spine on this one too, and it really helps to add some stability to the book. You know, like this one I did not wax the spine, and so this cover is somewhat you know, very flexible and soft, but that's okay, you know. And then this one I just I actually just did the spine and waxed it. So yeah, on the inside and the outside. So it's just adding some stability to the spine, which, and I love the way it looks too. It's really cool. And then this one, again, just the spine is waxed. So just adds kind of a, you know, distressed almost kind of look, you know. And one more. This one is going to be, this is definitely an oversized journal. This was done on one of the old law books, one of the old law library books that I have. And I think this piece right here I actually did in the video. So this is how I wound up using it. And I'll link the video below that I'm referring to. It's one where I was just playing with wax. So yeah, so this one kind of a larger journal, and then, you know, I've got a few others that that I've stitched together, and so these have the signatures sewn in, and these are ready to go. And these are just some vintage books that I've picked up over the last few months that I wanted to use for journals. And most of these I'm probably going to just leave as is. You know, I probably won't do much, if anything, you know, little, if anything, to the covers of these, because I just really like the way they look all on their own. This one was my favorite. Aircraft maintenance. And then there's this like literature book and another like reference book. So those, and then I have another few that I was working on last night that you know, they were some old books, but I didn't necessarily love you know, what was going on the covers the way they were. So I just kind of pulled out some inks, or actually I did a layer of gesso on them, and then you know, kind of sanded it off and distressed. I'll just show you the backs so you can see what I'm talking about. So I just did a layer of gesso, and then you know, let that dry, sanded it back, and then kind of went around with some distress inks, different shades of distress inks, and kind of gave each one like its own color, you know. So this one I did in oranges, and then I added a little bit of like liquid leaf to the edges, and then did a little bit of like collaging on the front. This just has the signatures kind of sitting in there. Did some collaging on the front of this one, used one of my clusters, and then this is like a waxed, like decoupaged paper napkin on a piece of cardstock with wax. And then some paper flowers. There's a little like sari applique here. There's a little flower and a couple of leaves from that. And then This one, you know, I went a little crazy with the liquid leaf, and then also Inca Gold. I used some Inca Gold on this one. And then I did actually coat it with just like a clear varnish. I use that Duraclear. And then, you know, did some layering on the cover and stuff. And used, again, one of the little appliques from the Sorry shipment. So, and that's just a paper napkin that's waxed onto some watercolor paper. So these are just, you know, books that are kind of in process that I'm working on. And I really like the way this one turned out. I love the little flowers on there and the little leaves and stuff with the old buttons. And I like the, you know, it was just a piece of coffee dyed like doily or, you know, table runner or something. And treated the edges with some of the liquid leaf and just did some distressing. So I really like this one. And I just kind of splashed some of it on to the back of this one, you can see. Anyway, so let's see. Is that all I've been up to? I think so. That's basically what I've been up to. So also as far as projects, but I did kind of want to show you guys. This is sort of another like this is sort of what I do when I have a whole bunch of journal covers that I want to make signatures for. Basically what I do is I take all of the little journal covers that I want to use, I put them all together, and then I start collecting all the other stuff that will fit in them for the most part. Like, you know, like this one is pretty small, you know, and this one is considerably larger, but so I've just got things that are kind of like that size, you know. So then, you know, I just kind of start putting all that stuff in this box, and then at some point, you know, I will separate all this stuff out into what is more specifically going to fit each journal. And if I have like 3 or 4 that are, you know, really close in size, these may wind up with another box on their own. But this is basically how I wind up with so many journal covers that are ready to go at one time. So I'm not going to get into each one of these right now, but I just kind of wanted to show you that's you know, sort of part of my process. So I'm going to be collecting stuff to add to these for a while. So a bunch of book pages and you know, some ephemera and some handwritten letters and advertising. These are just, you know, book pages, like halves of book pages. Just a couple of little patterns that, you know, I stitched around the edges. Some coffee dyed pattern paper. Made some pocket pages with some atlas maps. You know, coloring books. Some old pamphlets, just, you know, that kind of stuff. And once I feel like I have enough to make signatures for all of these books, then I'll sit down and I'll spread them all out in different piles and do it that way. So I definitely like to work in multiples. So all right, you guys, so at 4 p.m. today, Wednesday, the 14th of March, we will be working on art tiles on live stream. So get your stuff together and let's you know, move on to step 2, I guess, or you know, part 2 of art tiles. So all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and upload this video, but I just wanted to say hi to you guys and kind of let you know where I was at and what I was up to. So anyway, don't forget to like the video. That would be awesome. And then subscribe if you have not already. And also want to say thank you every single person who has subscribed to my channel. Like, I hear people say this sometimes, and I don't want to sound redundant, but I never in a million years thought that that anybody would subscribe to my channel. I honestly did not, and it just is so awesome that you guys want to see what I'm doing, basically, and that you're interested. So thank you for showing that. I really do appreciate it. It means the world. So anyway, so I will see you guys at 4 o'clock on live stream on YouTube here, and then if you have any questions, you can send me a message on Etsy, or you can email me. I'll put my email address in the video description, and you can find me. I'm not going anywhere. So, all right, you guys, take care. Love you.